Hey guys, Private Stealthmean here. I'm just going to be covering some of the Nuka World footage that's come out and debunking a few theories and giving my own personal opinion on this topic. Alright, let's get into it. Obviously, first off, the devs, they show that they're in Sanctuary, but we see later on that they actually go to the federal ration stockpile after listening to a radio signal, as is normal for that fashion, to go and from the federal stockpile in the Lonely Chapel to go left, which left obviously is off to the west of the map, and that is where the Nuka-Cola tram is. The tram takes you to the park. Now, what I can tell is I want to assume gunners, because of the commander that you see in the footage. There is a commander, which I guess is gunners. I didn't get a very good look of it myself. And I want to guess that the gunners are actually trying to stage an invasion on Nuka World and take the park for themselves. Now, the devs are pretty bad at playing their own game, so I'm kind of trying to make this as short as possible so I don't get frustrated while watching it to make a video on it. So I'm just going to go over a couple of places that they actually visited during it was the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet, you're immediately thrown into. The minute you come off the tram, you're thrown into something called the Gauntlet to enter the park. The very first obstacle is a room with machine guns. Because of the devs level, they had incendiary machine guns and wall-mounted machine guns and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, if you've never fought the incendiary machine guns, they are a beast. They will take your health down so fast, it's like nobody, can stand against it. I would probably bring some heavy armor of some kind, if you can find heavy armor, and then just buff it out for this kind of part. Maybe some heavy metal armor, if you want to go in looking like a raider. Some heavy metal armor, and then buff that out using some mods at the workbench, or some synth armor, and get some of those legendary variants, and then buff those out at the workstations as well. Next up is what I think it is, a room filled with it's explosives. And the devs, obviously, they show off that, and there's a room. According to the devs, that is, you can completely skip the gauntlet if you have a high enough lockpick. There is a room with explosives, like I've already said, and the end of that room, there are 3 doors. Those 3 doors, there's one trap, there's one, there's a monkey with symbols, and then the entrance to the next part. I'm well aware that there's a room filled with poisonous gas in one of them, that you have to turn the gas off or open up the doors or something like that. There is a collapsing bridge that you have to go across. It's very narrow, so you are able to fall off of it. If you fall off of it, you will have to fight Mirelurks, and what they showed inside the game was that was a legendary glowing Mirelurk, and it pretty much stomped the devs into dust. It destroyed them. Obviously, there's a person during all this kind of telling you like narrating you, basically like shoutcasting. And this is their announcer, Red Eye. Red Eye obviously being someone that maybe we'll be able to meet. Maybe we'll be able to meet him. Maybe we won't. Maybe he's like the New Vegas radio host, and he doesn't actually exist on the map at all. Or maybe maybe he's a part of one of the raider factions, and you will end up killing him or replacing him, or he'll end up joining you. Now, during the footage, obviously running the gauntlet, there is an area where raiders will start shooting at you through the bars. We see the pack and disciple raiders. Obviously, two different types of gangs. And what I believe is the pack live inside the Safari Zone, and the disciples most likely live inside of Kitty Kingdom. I'm making this assumption on the Kitty Kingdom based on the fact that I don't think that the Galactic Zone gang would consider themselves as disciples, whereas disciples to me seems more like a medieval thing. Obviously, having a castle in Kitty Kingdom. We do see the bumper car arena that I, kind of bullshit guessed on and got it right. There is a bumper car arena, and it's where we fight the guy with the electric power armor from the trailer. We then we swap over a save because they didn't want to spoil us fighting him, even though it was pretty much already in the trailer. And we proceed to look around Nuka World. Not Nuka World, but Nuka Town. And during this small little snippet, we see a new character. We see Nira, who has split personalities due to tampering with the behavioral matrix by the raiders in the park. So at one point she'll be really nice to you, and another point she'll call you a scaver and tell you to go die, and so I can't wait to actually talk to that. I actually laughed a lot at that. And then we also see a woman very briefly, and the devs stay away from her. Looks like they're trying not to talk to her. A woman named Sierra. Now, everyone was talking, the woman in the trailer might be the woman from the Nuka Cola Challenge. You were all wrong. You should listen up. Making heavy assumptions like that when the character model has definitely changed, especially with the hair. Come on, guys. Even Dr. Lee didn't really get a hair change in Fallout 4. They really kind of kept to it, We see Sierra with the pulled down hair. So the hair is down, all that kind of stuff. We only see her for a brief moment, and it's a really shitty frame segment. But we do see her, and you see her name because she's talking. So obviously, this is not the woman that you see in the trailer. This woman that you see in the trailer owns one of the raider factions that I want to assume is in charge of the World of Refreshment. After all, they do show off her character and a few other raiders in what looks to be the World of Refreshment in the trailer. And then, obviously, we go into the Nuka-cade, and the Nuka-cade, they just kind of show off the games. And at one point, I did really get annoyed because they accidentally revealed one of the characters in it. I think his name's like Frederick or something. I don't know. And he says, how are you doing, boss? Obviously meaning that he's the devs were the leader of, or have, you know, finished Nuka World at that point, but they didn't show off any of the raiding mechanics in the Commonwealth. Obviously, if you follow me on Twitter, you would have seen my conversation with Retrowave Dave, where pretty much I kind of just blank out said, I said that if they're letting us raid the Commonwealth and take settlements and place down our flag to get more raiders, then obviously I personally think and feel that there should be a raider ending of sorts, where you can either just kind of take the whole surface of the wasteland, and basically the Brotherhood of Steel, the Minutemen, the Railroad, and the Institute are all against you. This would actually be one of the coolest endings, because you wouldn't be fighting one singular faction who attacks your settlements. You'd be fighting all of them, and the Minutemen would have a purpose. The Minutemen would just sit there as a useless faction, in my opinion. And I would love to see the Minutemen with Preston Garvey. He just leaves you like the second you start enslaving settlements. He just like, yeah, I'm leaving. Okay, bye. And he comes back. He becomes the general of the Minutemen. He ditches you. You no longer have control of the castle. There becomes a new side quest or a miniature quest where you take the castle from the Minutemen. Very similar to the Institute storm of the castle, where if you're doing the Minutemen ending or the Brotherhood ending, the Minutemen get attacked at the castle and you have to defend it. Obviously this would be awesome, but you would need to build it up yourself, because I don't want to guess that they will just build their own defenses. What is going to be slave labor, by the looks of it, it raises questions, because obviously you probably will need slave labor to get people to work. How will you get them? Will you be able to go out? Will you be able to use stuff like the Mesmetron on people in the Commonwealth and put a slave collar on them and send them to certain settlements? Or will you just have to have a very large settlement in the first place to enslave them? Then the next part of my thing was either that or make it one of the most legendary raider groups imaginable. Give us the ability to use slave labor to build the teleporter and take on the Institute, and have the raider faction take the Institute's stronghold, right? Taking the Institute and enslaving the scientists there would actually be one of the coolest things ever, because then the raiders could also use synths as new recruits. And I just thought, you know, that's a cool ending, but obviously it brings up, would you be allied with anyone, or are you still going to be enemies with every single faction? And obviously I would love to do enemies with every single faction. I would love to have synths attacking Brotherhood attacks. It would really mix it up, and I would have to like pay attention to my settlements more, and my slaves. And basically that's it. Yeah, there needs to be an incorporated ending with this DLC. Is my belief. They've pretty much painted themselves as a target for people that want that. with bringing the DLC back to the Commonwealth, you can expect a fair amount of people to complain and basically really want a DLC ending playing as a major raider faction, and I know I already would do. If that's the case, I've done all the endings, and I would love to do a raider ending because it's so different. And even then, what about the okay, so what if we get all the gangs in the park together as one big gang? What about the smaller gangs in the Commonwealth? Will we also be able to get them? Because if we're also able to get them, then that would also increase our numbers again, and it would make you one of the most organized raider factions imaginable. And I think that's about all for this video. It's getting pretty long. But yeah, prepare for this one, I would say. The gauntlet looks like it's going to be pretty extreme. So prepare yourself with weaponry, armor, bring a big mixture. I know I'll probably be bringing the radium rifle because it's my favorite rifle in the game. I just love its reload animation. And I'm probably going to go there wearing raider gear because I really want to get in the feel of a new raider joining the park instead of just a explorer finding the park. And that's all for this time. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you liked it. And if you didn't like it, give me a comment down below and tell me why so I can improve. Thank you, and see you all next time.